Why did China's agriculture suffer during the Cultural Revolution? Imagine a time when the fields that fed millions were thrown into chaos. That's what happened in China during the Cultural Revolution, which lasted from 1966 to 1976. It was a period filled with intense political upheaval and ideological battles. But how did this affect farming and food production? Let's find out. Before the Cultural Revolution, China had already faced a major crisis during the Great Leap Forward from 1958 to 1962. Mao Zedong pushed for rapid modernization of agriculture by creating large collective farms. He wanted everyone to work together, but the plans were poorly thought out. They set unrealistic grain quotas and replaced food crops with cash crops like cotton and tea. This led to a terrible famine where about 30 million people died from starvation. Despite these failures, the government still exported grain and increased taxes from the rural areas. When the Cultural Revolution started, the chaos only worsened. The movement's focus on ideological purity disrupted normal farming routines. Mao sent millions of urban youth to the countryside to learn from peasants, but many of these young people had no farming experience. They often lacked the skills needed to grow food effectively. Local farmers resented these outsiders, which made teamwork difficult. The disruption caused delays in planting and harvesting crops, reducing food supplies even more. Another problem was that the reforms that had helped improve agriculture in the early 1960s were rolled back. These reforms, called the Household Responsibility System, allowed peasants to keep some of their harvest and make decisions about planting. This motivated farmers to work harder and produce more food. But during the Cultural Revolution, the emphasis on collective action and revolutionary ideals made individual effort less important. The government wanted everyone to work for the collective, which discouraged personal initiative and innovation. The chaos in administration also played a role. Many skilled agricultural experts and technical workers were targeted during the movement and removed from their jobs. Without their knowledge, planning and research slowed down or stopped altogether. The Red Guards, who were often aggressive and harsh, created an atmosphere of fear in rural areas. Farmers and workers were afraid to try new methods or improve their work, which hurt productivity. From a political point of view, the Cultural Revolution aimed to deepen revolutionary ideals and eliminate what Mao called capitalist tendencies. But in practice, this focus on ideology made it harder to run effective farms. The movement's obsession with revolutionary purity often clashed with the practical needs of food production. The removal of skilled workers, combined with the chaos and disorganization, meant that China's agriculture could not keep up with the demands of its population. It was only after Mao's death and Deng Xiaoping's reforms starting in 1977 that agriculture began to recover. They reintroduced market mechanisms and allowed farmers to make more decisions for themselves. Between 1978 and 1984, nearly half of China's agricultural growth came from these new policies. It showed that giving farmers more control and incentives was much more effective than strict collectivism or ideological purity. So, the main reasons China's agriculture suffered during the Cultural Revolution were the disruption of farming routines, the removal of experienced workers, the chaos in administration, and the focus on ideology over practical needs. All these factors combined to make food production difficult and unreliable during that turbulent time.